like I take playtesting like as serious as anything in all of game development. It's like it's the closest thing that I have like an ideological feelings about. And even if people don't playtest the way I playtest, I do think for an early phase team, like it is worth your time, your mind space. Like people were shocked how often I made time to follow up one-on-one on people's playtest notes to try to understand what they were trying to say better. Like the legwork it takes to sort of really get your playtest ecosystem strong. The fact that people see the most senior roles basically that engaged with what people think, what people have to say, how we format it, how often we do it, like what's in the playtest. Like I've like I think it's sort of like if the play testing is really good, you could do so many things wrong. You can break so many things. You can make so many mistakes, and like good play testing will save your team's bacon on multiple occasions. On the flip,
Yeah.
if your play testing's bad, I am like, man, I'm so scared.
Yeah. Well, Ed, I love what you said too about the seeing the senior leaders engaged, because if I didn't back then, but there was a time I was in a studio and they said all the things you're supposed to say about playtesting. Yeah, we're really big on playtesting. Yeah, we're really big on play. Like, oh yeah, we playtest all the time. We play all the time. Except that what they meant was there's a scheduled time, and everybody in the organization below a certain rank basically was told that they needed to go playtest together. But all of the people above, and whether it was middle management or like senior leadership or whatever, there was a line that was drawn, and we don't expect anybody above this line to be playtested because they all have more important things to do. And back then, I just thought that was interesting. I was like, I don't know if this is setting this what you want. And what do you know? In not too long a period of time, the whole playtesting system broke down.
I think it happens a lot.
Because
Yeah.
there's a cultural cascade thing. There's a behavioral cascade that happens there, where what if you'd done the other thing, if you'd had your leaders all the way up say, no, playtesting is really important, and so I'm in it with you, I make time for it. Yeah, sometimes I'm traveling because I'm a CEO and I need to go to Dice, or I need to go to Europe to go to DreamHack or something like that. But when I'm here, I'm playtesting with everybody else, and I'm taking it seriously, and I'm filling out my feedback form or whatever it is, right? Putting some notes in. It transmits something to the team, and it does teach them that, okay, this is important. And not only that, but it does mean that, because the opposite thing that I see that gets teams in big trouble is, one, you break down the playtest because none of the leaders above, like let's say middle management and up, none of them actually do it because they're all too busy. And what that means is that when the senior leaders, who are actually the key stakeholders, who choose whether this thing gets funded or not, they only interact with the game every so often in very special playtests, and every time they're surprised.
Yep.
Because they're not actually in tune with the product on a regular basis. And so they see it and they're like, wait a minute. And now they've got a ton of notes, and you're trying to like disentangle all those notes from this stuff. Well, yeah, we've been doing this for 3 months. It's like, well, sorry, I haven't had time to, you haven't you haven't prioritized. You haven't prioritized being in that room with the game in an internal sense. And so, yeah, just I'm doubling down on what you're saying,
Yeah,
I guess.
it's funny because some people are really scared to have senior leaders in playtests because it's like it'd be insufficiently presentable. What if there's a bug? And I'm like, they need to, eat the pizza we're cooking along with everybody else so they understand the rate of change. Like you said, that they're literate in sort of the ups and downs, that their expectations are managed. Like if they're choking on your playtest, it's worth your time to sort of go handhold, educate, soft skill it up and manage up and try to get them to understand, we're not spending on, this is intentionally ugly, or we're not going to spend money on this feature. Like get them in the boat to understand how you're approaching the problem, and it'll pay massive dividends well beyond the next milestone, because they're going to feel like, you were working the problem together and you cared about their take. Like it also sort of like, a lot of execs, sometimes you put a build in front of them, they feel like it's their job to sort of give like profound notes and be highly literate because it's a high stakes decision. And like often sort of if they're nitpicking the wrong things and they're sort of like a little scattered, a lot of it's because they're trying to save face and be polite, and they understand, oh man, I have been busy, I didn't make time to sort of play your bit. Like they're humans too, and you might be quietly doing a favor by sort of feeding them reps. I also feel like some of the best playtest notes I've gotten are for people that on other teams or other disciplines that like intermittently play the build, and
Hmm.
often I've had lawyers and marketers and IT people sort of like that context, knowing the state of your game, knowing the state of your team, knowing who you are by name, pays dividends in other ways. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
like if they're a fan of your game, like you are going to sort of like, like the thing that you want is the IT person telling the CEO, like, hey man, I really love that game. Like, I
Yeah.
play
Yep.
these games and I
Yep.
love it. Like you get buying in other ways. And then last bit, it's often sort of the place where people that might be pulled away to work on theoretical problems, pulled away to work on novel problems, suddenly have a change of mind when they see a real human trying to sort of solve a playtest problem, like, or they hear it all around the room. Man, we got this bad bug. Some engineers like, oh, that thing that's been in my queue, like it's 10 deep in my priority. You know what? I'm going to knock that thing out. You get much more
Yeah.
organic velocity when people have that, like when they want to protect it, when it feels like it's something that they can help make better. Like all the more reason, like even if the notes are for any reason not productive, just from sheer team building and sort of shared context, shared purpose, like it's the closest thing I have to secret sauce is good playtesting.
Please don't try to replace playtesting.
Yeah. It's also like people often see that as very audience centric and like miss the window that it's like, no, it's also you and your team together.
Yeah. It's part of building your lab.
Yeah.
We interact with the stuff that we produce, and we are comfortable having other people interact with it.